Hi guys, my name is Marielle, and I know that I've been sharing a lot of yoga videos with you guys, but for those of you that don't know, in addition to being a yoga teacher, I am also a life coach, and I'm in the process of training to become a certified health coach. So I thought it was about time that I started sharing with you guys some videos that relate to this side of what I do. And it's something that I'm incredibly passionate about. I absolutely love coaching. So to give you a bit of background as to how I came into coaching, for probably about 10 years, I used to see therapists. I think it first started after a bad breakup when I was in my early 20s, and I ended up staying because I wanted to understand a bit more about who I was, about why I felt the way that I did, to be honest, and I've mentioned this before, but I really didn't like myself. And even though nothing major ever really happened to me in my life, I felt like I carried so much baggage. I was really unhappy a lot of the time. So I went to a therapist, and this continued for a really long time. And what I noticed, and the reason why I stopped going after so long, was that I just felt like the same things kept coming up. And even though I had, by the end, come to better understand the influences in my life that affected the way that I felt, you know, a lot of things come down to your upbringing, your childhood, your relationship with your parents. I understood those things, but I still felt like I wasn't really moving forward. So fast forward to not very long ago, I met a life coach, and I remember asking him what the difference was between a therapist and a life coach. And he was the one that gave me the quote that's on my website, which he had heard in his training, which basically said that life coaching helps a flower to blossom, whereas therapy helps to pull out the weeds. And this resonated so much with me because I finally understood that a lot of times with therapy, what can end up happening is that we become very aware of our past, of the things that affected us in our past, but unfortunately, they can create a bit of a victim mentality, because all of a sudden we have all these people that we can blame, we have all of these situations that we can blame, that if we're not careful, we stay in that cycle of blame, creating victims of ourselves, and we don't realize that we have control to move things forward now that we understand our past a bit better. So what I would suggest, if you resonate with this, allow what happened in your past. I think it's important to know about, you know, what's brought you to this point, and our past is a big part of that. But I think once you understand, put the past aside and allow yourself the opportunity to move forward. And I think that's where life coaching really does come in. I joked with a friend once, but it's like having a personal trainer. You can go to the gym on your own, but sometimes having a personal trainer just makes things move a little quicker. It's someone that holds you accountable. It is someone that is there to support you, that believes in you, and that just really works on helping you understand what your goals are, what what it is that you want from your life. But ultimately, this journey is your own, so we're just there to kind of walk beside you. For this video, I wanted to talk to you about one of the first things that I would address in a coaching session. Sometimes we would call it a discovery session, which is breaking down the foundations of you as an individual. And a lot of that comes down to understanding what your values are, what your life purpose is, what the why is behind the things that you do. And it's funny with values, because when I did my coaching training, I don't know, I'd never really thought about my values, but I just assumed that they were obvious. I assumed we all had the same, you know, there's good and there's bad, and hopefully, you know, our value set are the good ones. But the reality is that our values differ, and our priorities of, you know, around those values differ. And when you realize this, a lot of the things that happen in your life, you know, any personal conflicts that you might have with people, situations that make you uncomfortable, you can start to look at them and realize that it's not personal. It's not something wrong with you as a person or them as a person. It's simply differing value sets. So for this video, I want you to get a piece of paper and a pen, and I'm gonna give you some suggestions for questions, but be creative. You can come up with your own. There's infinite ways to come up with questions that will help you assess what your values are. But I will start with my favorite, and this is one that resonates with me. If it doesn't resonate with you, of course, change it. But I know that I want to have a family. I think children is something that's very important to me. So my question to someone like me would be, if you already have children or when you have children, what kind of values, qualities, characteristics would you want to leave them with? Would you want to instill in them? So it could be anything from kindness to courage to hardworking, determination, education. A lot of the things that you come up with initially might seem very obvious, might seem very vague. Allow as many values to come out as possible. I mean, like free flow. Write them all down. You will start to get deeper and deeper the more you start asking questions. So another question that I would ask, just kind of flipping things around, is if there's someone that you don't like, if there is someone that rubs you the wrong way, that has qualities that you just don't agree with, on maybe a separate piece of paper, write down those things and try to find their counter. So if it's someone that's judgmental, maybe open-mindedness is a value that's important to you. If they're mean, kindness is something that's important to you. If they have bad manners, you know, having good manners is something that's important to you. Write all of these things down, and as you write them down, I want you to highlight the ones that come up most regularly and prioritize those. And if you can, maybe somewhere in your house, somewhere up front and center, somewhere visible. I love creating vision boards. I've done this before with my personal set of values, but put your values up somewhere that you can see them so that you can remind yourself that these are the things that are important to you. So that when you're going through your day-to-day life, you can constantly ask yourself if you're living your life in line with those values. And any areas of conflict or any areas that aren't working the way that you want them to, in what ways are you not living your life in line with your value set? And as far as your life purpose goes and your why, just really think about what fulfillment means to you. What kind of an impact do you want to have on the world? You know, your life purpose could be anything from helping people, giving back, being a family person. I mean, it is entirely individual and personal, but I want you to think about the why behind what you do. And if you're not happy with that why, it can be a mixture of things. I mean, if you're not happy with the job, then maybe there's things that you need to do outside of your job that can maybe help to compensate and fulfill that need for you to be living your life purpose. I know a lot of times it's not so easy to just say, well, quit your job and become a yoga teacher. But do think about what your why is and how you can start adding more things into your life that are in line and in alignment with your life purpose, with the kind of life that you want to be living, with the impact that you want to be having. And always making sure that you're living your life in line with your values, because that's who you are to your core. That's important. And I can definitely tell you from personal experience that I used to hate who I was. I always thought that when things went wrong, it was my fault. There was always a right or wrong. I never realized that two people could be right, but it was just a matter of differing value sets. And I think this is something really important to be aware of. So I hope that you will do this exercise. I hope that it is helpful. And I know that this is a very short video, but I just wanted to give you a quick introduction to my other love, which is life coaching. And I hope to be sharing many more videos with you in the weeks, days, months to come. I'd love your feedback, so by all means, let me know how you're doing, and I'll see you soon. Thanks.